What's up, guys?
How's it going, everybody?
And it's the Bengal Brothers podcast, and welcome to season 2, episode 1. We're back, Bengal Bob.
Let's go, man. Let's go. I'm so excited.
I've literally been just like antsy all day just thinking about it,
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, here we are back. As you notice, a lot of things changed. If you listened to season 1, we're video. And we went live a few times this off season to, work out the kinks and stuff, which we're still having. As you see, Coach Ray's not with us. He's having some technical difficulties. But we might be able to pick him up if he gets things worked out. We'll see. And, but yeah, we're back, Bob.
I know, man. It seems like the season goes by so damn quick. And, then the long off season, just waiting and listening to all the bullshit from people. And
yeah, I'm just for me, it's one of those things where it's like, because the NFL's gotten so big that everything in the off season's hyped up even more so than ever, like the NFL draft and free agency period, like that's tracked more than it's ever been tracked. And there's just so much build up and then camp, and especially as Bengals fans with how the off seasons have been the past few years. So
yeah, the NFL's gotten good at maximizing profits by making the schedule release weekend. Like you said, the draft is bigger than it's ever been before. So I guess those little nuggets here and there help, with the long wait in the off season. Because I know years ago, you'd have to read the newspaper to, stay up with everything for the most part. Now there's just so much coverage.
Yeah. And we've been so amped up and like just excited in general to get back to the podcast and get into the season and like everything that comes along with it. And so like it's even more agony, especially waiting for season 2. So, and if you're obviously this is your first time checking us out, we're going to be live every Tuesday night at 8:30 right here on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And we do have some sponsors that, this week we're sponsor free. It's just going to be straight talk, Bengals talk. And every week, every Tuesday, 8:30, the Bengal Brothers. And hopefully some of you guys that are watching this in the days following this live stream, you stick with us and, come hang out and chat. We, chats are open on everything. And I'm excited.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate all of you. It means a lot.
Well, man, let's get into it. Preseason's finalized. The final 53-man roster is finalized. So we know what it's going to look like in about, 5 days?
Yeah, 5 days. There's a big game on Thursday. The NFL's got a game on Friday, so that'll help with the wait till Sunday. What do you think? What are your biggest outtakes of the roster that, they just released this afternoon?
Well, honestly, sort of staying away from the Jamar Chase stuff for right now, because that's all anybody wants to talk about, right? Honestly, man, I think this really is one of the deepest rosters of my lifetime, probably of your lifetime, maybe in Bengals franchise history. I mean, this team is a team that last season had the hardest strength of schedule in franchise history. So by previous season's win percentage, literally the Bengals schedule last year was the hardest schedule they've ever played in franchise history. And they went 9-8 with Joe Burrow being healthy for a handful of games. So, I mean, this team is, in my opinion, if Burrow can stay the course, I don't want to say it, and if the team can come along around him, I mean, this team's got to start.
It's going to be a special year.
Make some noise.
It's going to be a special year. Was there any surprises that surprised you with the 53? Because I know there was a couple surprises that I didn't see coming.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, I think that there's always the question of like how the nitpickiness goes of like how many you're going to keep it, how many tight ends they're going to keep, how many this. But I think for the most part, all that was actually fairly straightforward. you know.
Yeah.
But I think the guys that we thought were going to make it did, and the guys that we hoped weren't going to make it, i.e., Jackson Carman, didn't. So it was I don't know. I think the 53-man strong.
Yeah. Which, I'm sure if you're tuned in, you're a Bengals fan. I was so glad that John Meta fought and found a spot on this roster. What a preseason. What a preseason guy who's undrafted, comes in here, keeps his nose down, works real hard, man, and led the preseason tackles. We had talked a lot about we had talked a lot about, our last podcast episode about Dax Hill, and was he going to earn that opposite spot of Cam Taylor-Britt? And, he did. He went out, worked his ass off, made the transition. And something else that I think some people have found surprising, that he's also the backup for Mike Hilton. So not only do they trust him to play outside opposite of Cam, they trust him if Mike goes down, then, hey, we'll slide Dax Hill over and give Turner the start opposite. I think that speaks volumes for the type of offseason that Dax has really put together.
Yeah, honestly, I'm both surprised, not surprised. I'm happy for him. I really am, and I'm happy that for the Bengals front end that he and obviously we haven't seen yet, so for real in live action, and I'm sure there's going to be some bumps and bruises along the way, but
right.
Honestly, we weren't sure, because usually you go from corner to safety when players are aging and have issues, and he's made the jump the opposite way. And but we know how physically talented Dax Hill is. We know how explosive he is, and to be honest, he turns out to be a Pro Bowl corner, it's going to be one hell of a story, and it's going to be, one of the guys that you should be rooting for out there.
Right. When was the last time we had two corners that were Pro Bowl caliber on the field for us at the same time? I'd have to go back to Leon Hall and Jonathan Joseph, and that didn't even last that long.
Right.
But yeah, there's a potential there to have two Pro Bowl caliber corners playing on your outside. I think something else that around the YouTube and everything else, all the media outlets, a lot of people were surprised that they have Sample as the number ranked on the roster as the number one depth tight end. But you can only take that with a grain of salt, because we know that Mike Gesicki has, he's able to bounce and play in the slot, kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to catching the ball.
Right.
And the Bengals play a lot of 11 personnel. So clearly, a lot of the 11 personnel, he's going to be tight end is mainly going to be in there blocking most of the time. So Drew Sample is our best blocking tight end. So clearly,
he's honestly, that's the thing. Honestly, when you break down the tight end room, right? Prior to Eric All getting cleared, Sample was the only inline tight end we had. And I'm not only that, he was drafted specifically because he was the best blocking tight end of his draft. And we've seen it over the past 2 years. He's came in and he's made up for the deficiencies of blocking at running backs big time.
Right.
And Eric All, now healthy, has proved Eric's big and strong, and he can play inline, but he's also a good seam receiver. And honestly, Eric All made the roster because he sort of is the only other inline tight end they had aside from Drew Sample, but he's a way better pass catcher and route runner. So Tanner Hudson and Mike Gesicki they could be Travis Kelce-esque type tight ends.
Right.
But they're not the guy you're going to put in line and ask to block an edge player, especially not against a division opponent like the Steelers or the Ravens or the Browns. So
but you know how people are, though.
Right.
Everybody was like, Gesicki didn't get the number one. Like I said, he'll have way more catches this season than Sample will. And like I said, they do run a lot of 11 personnel, which the number one tight end in that would be. And for those of you who don't know, 11 personnel, that's one running back, one tight end,
Right.
So People get all alarmed today when they seen that, and it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it's not a bad problem to have if you're deep at a position when you're in an offense
Right.
that you just lost your number one slot receiver and now you're going to fill it by committee. So adding
Right.
guys to that.
And they got
But
the weapons for that.
I think Coach Ray's trying to get set up. If he's been dealing with some technical issues, we could try to add him in here, but I don't think he's quite there yet. But honestly, I don't think we could talk about the preseason, offseason without bringing up Chase and the situation that we're dealing with currently, and whether we think the Bengals are going to pay him prior to the season. If they don't, is Chase going to play? And so why don't you kick it off, Bob, and just give me your thoughts on it, man. Give the people your thoughts on the Chase situation.
Right. Well, I see both sides of it. He is one of the best receivers in football. He will get paid. Let's get that clear. There's no doubt that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to pay Chase just like they paid Burrow. Where they're stuck in the mud at is he's still got 2 years on his deal. Technically, the Bengals could have control over him for the next 3 years if they wanted to. You know what I mean? It's not like they don't want to pay them, but we all know that once the season starts, the Bengals usually don't do any type of contract work.
No.
That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Part of me wishes Thursday, about 2 minutes into the game against Chiefs and the Ravens, the Bengals announced on Twitter, Jamar Chase officially,
just like
gets
Burrow
his deal.
last year.
Just like Burrow last year, man. Fuck the Chiefs. That would be just, icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But honestly, I see both sides of it. I can't be really mad at either one. Obviously, we want him to play, and now tomorrow's Wednesday, so like you're getting to that point to where if he don't get signed in the next couple of days, he won't be playing Sunday, and even if he signs tomorrow or Thursday, it's going to be limited play on Sunday anyways. He ain't gonna,
Right.
I don't know, man. What do you
get?
Right.
Honestly, man, this has been one of those things where, like, the Bengals have proven that they'll pay a guy all the way up to the start of the season. Literally, like you just said, a few minutes into the season. So then you think about the fact that whether Chase signs now, and I said this to you earlier today, or he signs later in the season, or 2 games into the season, or he sits out in this entire year, or they pay him tomorrow or tonight or Thursday, the Bengals are going to have Chase until close to 2030, 2028, 2029, at least. So no matter how you look at it, they want Chase to be a Bengal. Chase wants to be a Bengal. He wants to be with Burrow. And it's my opinion pretty clear that they've been hung up on guaranteed money. And I completely agree. I feel the same way. It's pretty much, I see both sides. The Bengals have him for 2 more years. And with 2 franchise tags, Chase could be stuck with the Bengals for 4 years or retire. I mean, that's his option, or don't play. And if you don't play, then his 2 years left in the contract defers the next year. So no matter what, the Bengals have him for 2 years unless he's playing. And then Chase's side is, I get it. The guys that you are competitive with in numbers since over the past 3 years, 2 years, are the elite players who are getting paid. So it's one of those things where Chase is like, if I go out and get hurt tomorrow and my career ends, I never really got a bag off of my elite talent. And I totally understand. I am always in favor of the players getting paid, because otherwise it's just the corporations and the owners who keep them. So, like, you look at it from that perspective, I totally get both sides. But the problem is, yes, that it's not a problem, but that's a very long-term thinking. Chase in his head's like, look, I'll wait to play. I did it at LSU. And everybody else is like, we just want to see it get done because this team has to start fast. And it doesn't help that those players on the field.
This is a championship caliber team, right? I don't know, because the Bengals are in this situation, are damned if they do, damned if they don't. Because say there wasn't all this hoopla that's going on, let's say, and the Bengals just came right out at the end of last year, at the very day one at the beginning of this year, should I say, and bam, made him the highest paid receiver in football with 2 years left on his deal.
Yeah.
Then the next guy's going to come along and say, I know Jamar's a little bit of an outlier. There's very few men in the NFL like Jamar Chase. But, the next couple guys that come along who believe they're outliers too, and they're on that type of level of talent, guess what? We won our deals after 3 years.
Yeah.
We don't want to wait. Jamar Chase made that. And that's what's pissed me off a lot about Adam Schefty and a couple of these other analysts on TV. It's like they'll sit there and say all this, but when it comes down to it, all the receivers that's gotten paid of Jamar Chase's caliber, I know there's been other receivers that's gotten paid after year 3, but of his caliber, all those guys had to wait till their 4th year.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it is them paying Burrow early, which they didn't want to do, but it sort of set a precedence that Jamar's like, oh, well, Burrow got paid. The difference is, and like this isn't a
fucking Burrow.
Well, he's the franchise quarterback. I mean, quarterbacks are such a unique situation in the NFL that they're considering their own salary cap. So, like, that's the issue is that the Bengals don't want to, when AJ Green came along, and his first, however many seasons, 1,000-yard seasons. Then he had a streak of so many games in a row with a touchdown catch. He got a big bag from the Bengals. And when that happened, everyone was like, pay AJ Green because, you're not going to have guys like that come through all the time. You're rarely going to have guys like that. Well, not so long after the Bengals draft Jamar Chase, and here we are in another situation. And we're sort of in a situation where people are saying, you're not going to have guys like Jamar Chase coming along and being like this. And I'm not saying Jamar is not special because Jamar is very much special.
Right.
The reality is, though, you're still setting a precedence for everybody that comes after you to say, hey, you come in and ball out, we're going to give you a big deal after 2 years. And the receiver market's already been ballooned so much that the contracts are they're receivers heading to where running backs are, to where no one's going to pay them. They're just going to draft younger, get cheaper.
Right. So, and anybody who's a real Bengals fan and knows the Bengals have always flourished at drafting wide receivers.
Yeah.
So, I know we're not going to draft another Jamar Chase, but, I mean, let's be real about it. Look at the caliber of the wide receivers we've had. So,
yeah.
And, guy like Yoshi.
To answer the actual question, what do you think is going to happen in the next few days, and is Chase going to play? And before we get to that next segment, we're going to see if we can try to get Ray in here. We're going to see how it works out. So
if Chase signs by Thursday, or were to, get a deal done, sometime Thursday, maybe late tomorrow night, I think there's a chance that he would play on a limited basis, like maybe in the red zone, third down, here or there, bring him out there. But by no means will Jamar Chase be what we're used to seeing. He's not going to get that level of snaps. He's just not. It's signed anytime after that. I believe he'd be sitting out till we go out to Chief Land.
Yeah. To be honest, dude, I'm not sure a deal's going to get done, but I think that Chase is going to play. I want to sit here and say in the next 48 hours, whatever, in the next 2-3 days that it's going to happen. Maybe Thursday night, just like Joe Burrow last year, and maybe that will. Maybe that's why Jamar was cheesing the pictures. Maybe that's why the vibe's sort of been different. And he's been having fun at practice, even though he's not been practicing. So maybe that they're sitting on the deal like they did Burrow for a couple of days, and they're going to steal the thunder of Thursday Night Football, make it about Joe, or make it about Jamar. But honestly, if Mike Brown sticks with what he said, which we don't negotiate during season, we're officially under
not getting done,
then I think Chase is still going to play. I don't think he'll sit out. Actually, if he wasn't going to play at all, he would have just held out. Yes, holding in, still gets paid. But I think at this point, it's more like he's obviously been getting work in. People have seen him with his helmet and stuff. Will he get a lot of snaps and everything like you said? No, probably not. A couple of go balls, but 10, 15 snaps. But I think he plays. I'm not confident he was going to get done.
All right, let me ask you this. What if he don't play? What if Sunday comes and he's not even suited up?
Yeah. Well.
Then does that give him all the leverage?
The Bengals?
Does that
Jamar?
Would that give? Do you think it would give Chase all the leverage? Because then the Bengals know, we're not going to go to. I mean, I'm not saying we're not.
Here's the reality.
Rephrase that. We could go to Kansas City and win without him, but it'd be a hell of a lot tougher. That's for sure.
If Chase doesn't play Sunday, he's not practicing on Monday or Tuesday. Well, Tuesday is the off day. So if he doesn't play Sunday, he's not practicing next week. And if he doesn't practice next week, then even if he did play against the Chiefs, he's barely getting any reps. So then you look at the Bengals' perspective, it's like, well, we're definitely not going to pay you now. So if they're going to pay him, it would be before this game, because the long game says if he sits out this game, it pretty much messes him up having a full week against the Chiefs, because you're not going to pay him late in the week against the Chiefs to get no reps out of him, because that helps you none against the Chiefs. So that's not really a leverage play. So what you either do is you either pay him before this week and he gets limited snaps this week and then practices all week and he's 100% for the Chiefs, or you let him sit out and you say, well, then you're going to sit out all this year and we have to play the cards.
Right, which is what equal out to like $70,000 game checks, right? Because he's on the million,
which is nothing. I mean, if he's going to get a big bag, and then they can waive those fees too. That's what people don't understand. He could sit out 3 weeks, they could pay him, and they could waive all 3 game checks.
I'm telling you, there's a reason why we've been called the Nasty Natty, and that's because fans will turn on him. They will turn on him if I'm telling you. Fans are going to turn on him.
You can go from Carson Palmer running into the stadium on Monday Night Football, the infamous video of the storyline of when he was born and the Bengals story. If you can go from that moment as Bengals fans to Carson Palmer sitting on the bench down there by himself, and people throwing trash on the field and him leaving, anything's possible. You know what I'm saying? So let's move on to Week 1 New England Patriots. Let's see if we can get Ray in here. Hold on. Let's see. We appreciate everyone's been stopping through. The chats are open on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Not sure where everyone's viewing from.
Drop us a comment.
Looks like we got a comment from Robert Romine, King Chief himself. I actually think money is corrupted so much in America. People go literally for the team on one day, and then the almighty dollar changes things the next day. Very poetic, Bob.
And it happens every day.
All right, let's see if we can get Ray in here. Hold on. Let's add him to the stage here. Oh,
there he is. Hey, let's give him a hand. He made it.
Yep, coming from you live from my damn phone.
Yeah, technical difficulties.
Yeah, I don't know what my laptop's doing, man. But I was listening to everything backstage, and Bingo Bob, man, dude, you are on one already today, ain't you?
Yeah, I am, man.
I can tell, bro. I can tell.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what.
Before we move on to Week 1 here, I would like to say that Jamar will be suited and Jamar will be playing.
All right.
So,
all right. That's what I think too. I'm not sure deals
trying to
get
keep
done.
that dude from not playing, dude, regardless of money or not.
Right.
He's going to play football.
Yeah, it's going to be limited snaps, but yeah, I mean, if he plays it. Right.
Yeah. I hope he plays.
We'll see, bro. It won't
so,
be that
speaking of playing, Bengals open up at home in 5 days against New England Patriots, who have went through a lot of changes the past few years, especially this past offseason. So here's some thoughts on, that team and how we match up against them. Anyone take the reins, Ray?
Yeah,
get your whistle wet.
Shit show, bro.
Get it wet.
Like I legit, I think it's going to be a shit show, man. I definitely see us absolutely stomping a hole in their ass. I mean, it's again, dude. If I had to predict the score of this game, dude, it's not going to be pretty.
Don't say your prediction score. We're not doing score.
I'm going to say my prediction. I'm just saying it's not going to be pretty, man. It's going to be a landslide of a game. I mean, New England. I think New England and the Commanders, I think, are probably rated to have the worst seasons.
Hi, Sojourn. Thanks for stopping in.
Any club.
Hey, Sojourn. Angelic.
I mean, they're just bad, dude. They're just bad. Like it's.
Yeah.
I wish we actually had a better contender to open the season up against, especially looking at the Chiefs at week 2.
If I could interject, don't underestimate New England's defense because that kept them in a lot of games last year. And, they got formidable corners and safety. I'd love for us to come out and smoke them. But at the same time,
you could argue that no franchise in football has had more changes in the offseason than the New England Patriots. Because you go from having an historic, maybe the all-time greatest football coach at any level,
the greatest run in sports history, probably,
to 2 down years, a coaching change, a GM change because Bill was their GM too. I mean, quarterback change, offensive system change. I mean, literally. The New England Patriots right now are it's like it's like they drafted a whole new team. I mean, it's not. They still have some of the core pieces there they've had the past couple years, guys that are still developing. I think the defensive schemes are going to be strong for them, but where I think our guys are at in our system to where their guys are at in their new system should be night and day.
So you guys actually think this game's going to be close?
No,
I'm not saying it'll be close, but what I'm saying is they have some talent on the defensive side of the ball. Guys have played with each other for the last few years there. I mean, let's get real. We always start slow too, so there's a few factors in there that I wouldn't be surprised if we blew them out, and then I wouldn't be surprised if they hung in there.
Yeah. Honestly,
I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, bro. I mean, honestly, dude, I think it's going to be a shit show. I mean,
I hope you're right, Ray.
Well, before we leave,
the Patriots are trash, bro. I mean,
before we leave
at the bottom.
Let's break this down. Let's break this down, right?
Year.
Let's break this down for those that might tune in the next couple of days that don't know as much about football. New England offense in the NFL is very intricate. New England is a predominantly defensive team with new offensive systems. Their offense is going to be run the ball, run play action. They're going to literally try to slow the game down, keep the clock running, win the turnover battle. They're going to try to do the things that New England has done over the years consistently because the guys that are in place now have been a part of New England's culture. So they're going to try to – they want to do what the Browns have done to us consistently.
Muck it up.
Keep the game close. Control the ball, have drives to keep your defense and Joe Burrow off the field. Their defense might have some complexity to it, but there's a lot of new pieces in the defense. So you look at the Bengals, who have been a 70-30 pass team over the past 3 years. 70% pass, 30% run the ball. And sometimes when you're thriving, you're on. But when it's famine, it's the drives are short, and obviously with new play caller at the helm, partially in Dan Pitcher, it'll be interesting to see how that matchup goes. But I think that if the Bengals defense has continued to rise how they've done, I don't see the New England's basic offense scoring very many points against our defense. I think our defense is going to be that much better than it was last year. I think last year was an anomaly that our offense really ain't going to have to score that many points to win this game. So they're good. If we win the turnover battle and we play well in special teams, this is a game the Bengals should win handily without giving a score prediction or whatever. But this New England team is very, very green behind the ears in terms of overall systems and everything. And, Bengals have to start fast.
Yeah, I mean, everything's just raw right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just raw. The majority of their players are basically fresh meat. I mean, it's going to be a raw season for the Patriots. I mean, I have them going like 3-14 this year. So
it's raw.
I mean, they're just all raw, dude.
Not fair. They are. They're not favored in any game they're
You
playing
don't
this
know
year.
what you're gonna get. I mean, yeah, dude, like some shit might just form and just gel, and they might be something. But at the end of the day, like history tells us otherwise. That when you have this many raw players and raw coaches all trying to build this culture, preceding a Bill Belichick, like, dude, it's going to be fucking tough. It's going to be uphill for the next couple years.
The equalizer is that it's week one. That's the only thing that has their
helps. But all I was saying is I completely agree with both of you. But there's been some damn good Bengal teams that have fucked around and lost week one. And that's all I'm saying is, obviously everybody wants them to blow New England out.
We've historically, under Zach Taylor and Burrow, not played well the first 2 weeks.
I'm just saying, it's not out of the realm of possibility of not starting the season the way we want to. I don't think that's going to happen, but you have to keep that in mind. The potential for that's there.
Well, people still hold the Patriots in high regard. However, they have done nothing but slide downhill since Brady left. The Bengals surprised everyone in the most unlikely moments. It's a good point, Bob.
Yeah. And I was just sitting here thinking.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I was just sitting here thinking, boy, go back to, that nice run from 2011 on with the Bengals and Andy Dalton, AJ Green and company. Every year you look at the schedule. Well, are we going to end up playing the Patriots this year? Or if we do want to make the Super Bowl, we're going to have to go through the Patriots. And now it holds so much less water when you see the Patriots on the schedule.
Agreed. Gage 123340000 GGA said, "What's your guys' opinion on the edges of the Eagles-Cincy game week 7?" I think the Eagles might be surprise everybody in a not so good way this year. To be honest,
I agree.
It'll be yet to be.
Sorry, Gage.
Hopefully, that's a W for the Bengals.
Tigers eat Eagles.
It's a primetime game. I'm pretty sure.
It is. Tigers eat Eagles.
If there's any secondary out there on an NFC team that can pose any type of competition to our wide receiver core, it's probably the Eagles. But Gage and a couple other Eagles fans are going to find out the hard way come week 7.
Okay, I want to ask a personal question. How did you let the son of in your household become an Eagles fan? How did that happen?
So, I mean, he's kind of confused. He's at that age where he's just a confused young man.
He's confused about a lot of things.
He's a Bengals fan at heart. He still wears Bengals stuff, so.
Yeah. Yes, that's the thing as Bengals fans. When you're young, you try to deny and run from it. You're like, I can't.
They always come back.
But then you realize, that Houday Nation's the best out there.
We still love you, Gage.
So, we're going to be introducing 2 new segments this year. The structure of, every Tuesday night, 8:30, we're going to be live right here, and hopefully we're not going to have technical issues. We'll have things good to go. And the only difference in season 1 and now, a lot of the same great things that we're going to be coming at you. We're talking about ball and everything this season, all that. But we're introducing a couple new segments, just to try to get some more people involved and interacting. And first one's going to be Toxic Talk. So from week to week, this is a segment that Bob came up with. And, in the sports world especially, in every aspect of life, but in the sports world especially, people are off the chain on the internet. We know that. I mean, it's either clickbait or it's toxic. And as Bengals fans, we feel a lot like we don't always get the best narrative. I've watched NFL All 32 All Access 32, where they're supposed to cover all 32 teams in 30 minutes, and they won't talk about the Bengals for like 2 or 3 episodes. Not so much these days. But so between week to week, if you guys are watching, you're scrolling through social media and you see stuff that's like, man, that's toxic. Screenshot it, tag us on social medias, email it to the Bengal Brothers Podcast at gmail.com. On Twitter, on YouTube, comment on our videos, share the screenshots. So this week I grabbed an example of what we're talking about, okay? So this was literally just yesterday by a guy named Grant Pusker. Yeah, we're going there. We're calling people out. Okay, we told you we were going to grab receipts, so we're doing it. He said,
Get a load
imagine
of
selling
used
used TVs from your stadium so you can keep your number one wide receiver. Seriously, think about that. Broke-ass franchise, man, LOL. First off, the Bengals have been renovating for 2 years, okay? And they started doing this even before Burrow's contract. They were selling TVs cheap, giving them away because they decided instead of putting all the TVs in a landfill that they were going to sell
Let
them to the
fans
public
have a
for
piece
super
of the
cheap.
stadium. Let fans have a piece of the
They did it
stadium.
with tables, all kinds of things.
Right.
And then you got people like this online who,
Busker. What kind of name is that? Busker.
Oh, dude, I find it fucking great. That's hilarious.
God.
Bro. That's absolutely
So speaking
hilarious.
of toxic talk, Gage said, "Nah, I'm a proud Philly fan. All love." Oh, that's toxic.
That's toxic as fuck, bro. Get the fuck out.
Robert said, "Coming from a dad who's still known as a Packers fan and doesn't like Ohio State." He's talking about Ray.
Damn it, man. Shots
All right.
fired.
He brought up Ray's Packer days.
The second new segment.
Dude, I can't lie, bro. I was a Brett Favre fan, dude. And anybody that
Oh,
wasn't
for sure.
a Brett Favre fan,
Yeah.
dude, I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
I was Troy Aikman.
Honestly, before he started ripping off the poor people,
Welfare and shit.
Welfare. Yeah. Everybody loved Brett Favre. And then he started ripping off the welfare in the state to build gymnasiums and stuff. So the second, that was toxic. See, we were going to get screen grabbed by somebody. The second segment, which I'm excited for, is Cincy's Finest Five. So next week will be the first week. And what we're going to do is each of us are going to come up with who we believe are the 5 best head coaches in Bengals franchise history. To me, this one is very straightforward. I think there's a little bit of variance maybe in 4 and 5. But I think
one of my picks is going to surprise you.
Maybe. Bobby's going to say Big Bubba. I'm going to end the live stream. No, but so what we'll do is week to week, we'll give our 5 each. So next week, next Tuesday night, 8:30, right here live, we'll literally do our 5 head coaches a piece during this time frame, and then we'll announce next week's. And then just like Toxic Talk, throughout the week, you can, screen grab, you can reach out on social media, comment on videos. If you're watching this,
all
on
those
YouTube,
people talking shit. Let's grab them. All those people talking shit.
All the people who watch this in the coming days on YouTube and on Twitch as a VOD, leave a comment on, tell us who your 5 head coaches are. And, we'll pull some of them up next week, see what some people are saying. See if we got any outlandish, any crazy ones, things like that. So next week, since he's Finest 5 head coaches, I think number 1 is as clear as it gets, in my opinion. But that's just me. You guys could be thinking different. I know you guys probably both think I'm thinking Zach Taylor. It's not Zach Taylor.
I wasn't
to me, that'd be insane,
Taylor, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you guys know I'm a big fan of Zach Taylor.
Bro, we'll get into that next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll be curious to see where Marvin falls out on your guys' list.
I think Marvin is definitely.
That'll be interesting.
I think Marvin is definitely on the list.
Maybe, maybe not. Let's get into these predictions.
So we're going to get into our closing. Let's give some predictions for the game, score, feel of the game. And then maybe, a best bet or something like that, for the Bengals week 1. I think it doesn't have to be Bengals, but this is a Bengals podcast. No, I'm talking about just like, something you could pick up on FanDuel or DraftKings or something. I'll kick us off. All right. So, because you guys are both, I can see Bobby's eyes crossing under the glasses. So, I personally think that this game is going to start slow because it's week 1. And I think it's going to be one of those games where hopefully they go down and score right off the bat, opening drive of the season, you get a score. That's what we want, right? That's what we want. But this is a team that thrives on leaving you on the edge of your seat, especially early in the season. So I think that this is going to be a little bit of a grinder that maybe the first quarter, first half. I think the Bengals are just better. And when you're better, you just chip away because this is the NFL. And in the NFL, teams are good, even bad teams. They're some of the best 1,500 players in the world. So even when they're a bad team, they're good. I see the Bengals chipping away, and they just slowly grind this out, and some big plays are happening, hopefully, in the pass game and the run game. And I think it ends up looking like a blowout, even though it may not have felt like a blowout. And good teams do that to teams all the time. That to me is a big indicator of a good team that beats a bad team. Is it may not look pretty because it's the NFL, but you ground it out, and it by the end of the game, you're like, that was looks like the Bengals handled them. It's like, oh, if it was closer than the score lets on type of game. I see this being a 31-13, 31-14, maybe 31-17, like somewhere around there, to where they, a touchdown, a couple field goals, maybe 2 touchdowns, a late field goal if the Bengals are up and pull Burrow for a drive. You know what I'm saying? Like I maybe the Bengals score 28. You know what I'm saying? I think that they're going to end up winning this game by multiple possessions. I truly do.
All right.
And my best bet, if I had to bet in this game, this is one of the biggest spreads of week 1. The Bengals are one of the biggest favorites of week 1. I would bet personally the Bengals to take the points, because I think come game time, a lot of people are going to think, oh, the Bengals have the biggest spread of week 1. They're not going to cover it. It just sounds like something that's not going to happen, especially against people who are like, oh, the Patriots defense is going to be better than the people think. And yeah, I would take the Bengals and the points, and I think they're going to cover it. That'll be my bet of the weekend. In fact, I think I might have that bet on DraftKings. But I think the Bengals win 31-13. I'm going to say that. But might have been closer than it feels.
That's nice. I agree with a lot of what pretty much everything you just said. I mean, it is going to be one of those type games. It's week 1. Always jitters. We're going to miss some plays, probably miss out on some opportunities. Like I said, their defense is – their offense ain't worth a damn, but their defense ain't no joke about some things. They're an NFL defense, so anything can happen. I just hope that everybody stays healthy week 1. If Chase ain't out there, I'm going to be really curious to see if maybe Jermaine Burton gets a couple deep shots. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just damn excited. I kind of think score's probably going to be 34-12. I don't think the defense lets them get in the end zone with a touchdown. I think it's field goals all night, all day for the Patriots.
Damn. Thinking the defense is going to be
Interesting.
stout.
Yep. No touchdowns for that offense. All field goals.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me with just being a new unit, new offensive staff. I mean,
I think our secondary is going to look dominant, and as long as we can stop the run,
what do you think?
Why not?
Yeah,
so you got a bet, Bobby? You got a bet you want to throw in there now?
What's that?
I said, did you have a bet you wanted to throw in there?
No.
Go ahead, Ray.
I mean, I agree. I agree with Reggie on the points, man. I mean, I would definitely take what they're giving. Dude, if you're talking about starting a new way, and that's what Cincinnati's been all about each and every season now under Zach Taylor. So when you look at it face value, man, like this is the year. Like you can chop up whatever year you want to so far under Zach Taylor to being whatever you might have thought it might have been. But this is the year where Cincinnati, in my mind, has to show literally everybody exactly what the fuck, we have to take that paper, what we look like on paper, to the field. And by doing so, man, I think it starts right here, week 1. And I think I got us going 42-19. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be close.
Man, putting up 40+ on week 1. That'd be nice. That'd be really nice.
I think New England's going to get a majority of their points in the fourth quarter because we're going to have second string dudes out there, So, I mean, that's what I got it at, man. 42-19, just an ass whooping, Obviously, Burrow's going to throw well over 300 yards. I think Chase is going to have a great
one,
opening
sure.
day. You know, I don't know how many takes Moss is going to get, but I think Chase is going to have a good fucking day, man. You know, so we'll see what happens, man. Like I said, I mean, this it's
regardless.
At some point, you have to show who the big dog is, right? We already know we're in the toughest division, all NFL, but
we lost Ray. Poor kid.
Going out like he came in.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I had a phone call right there in the middle of that, bro.
Dang,
so that was
cool.
But yeah, dude, I mean, at some point, like I said, we got to show who the big dog is in the AFC North and in the AFC for that matter. So I look for us to start fast, you know, which is uncommon. We don't normally do that. I think we're going to come out swinging this year, boys. I mean, I think we're going to be a tough.
Oh, there he goes again.
Yep.
That's awesome right there, bro.
Classic.
Well, hopefully you're right, Ray. Hopefully you're right, or Reggie. Hopefully you're right, or hopefully I'm right. Regardless, you know, it'd be nice to see the Bengals put up 30+ points and, you know,
for me,
grind out a good game.
To be honest with you guys, I think the biggest part of this year that the Bengals can grow is starting better. And I think after last year, and it was kind of the third straight year of it, I think the entire system, Zach, all of them sat down and said, what is one area we can improve on massively? And that's our offseason and starting faster. And they played preseason this time. Burrow literally played more preseason in one game than he has in his entire career so far. So, and you talk about he made it through his first full offseason, healthy offseason, because we're officially week 1 right now. So you could say that. And like getting out quick, and I don't mean necessarily like in the game getting out quick. I'm talking about, you know, 1-1,
season
2-1, 3-1, or 4-2 to start through his first 6 games. Getting out to a faster start, not behind the 8 ball of the division like they have. Last year, you have the literal toughest schedule in the history of the franchise. And you're with Burrow dealing with the calf, it was another slow start. So, like,
we have a big opportunity.
The schedule's very favorable. You have to get out faster and win week 1. That's all that they care about right now. However it looks, they can win by 3 points or 30 points. They want to win week 1, go into and start
Burrowhead.
Start preparing. I hate that phrase.
I do too.
Literally
but
start
you keep
preparing
saying
for the Chiefs.
No, I agree with you, Reg.
I
mean, this is a huge season. Like, it's one of the few seasons you get as a, you know, up until this point as a Bengals fan where you're going into the season like you got Super Bowl aspirations and like they're right there in your face. Like we're right on the brink of going right back to the Super Bowl. We have the team. We have the coaching staff. Let's do it. Because if we can beat New England and then go to Kansas City and show them who the fuck's boss is, the Bengals may start this season out 8-9-0 before you just like that.
Well, they definitely didn't do the Chiefs any favor, man. I mean, again, week 1, week 2, you're against 2 of the top AFC opponents in the North, and the Chiefs will be lucky, man, coming out of week 1 or week 2 healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, Patrick's got a huge ass target on his back this year, bro. I mean, nobody wants to see them three-peat.
I think
everybody's hoping.
Best case scenario, the Chiefs beat the Ravens. So we beat the Patriots, and then the Steelers and Browns lose to the Browns are playing
Falcons and Cleveland.
Falcons and right. And you know, the Bengals are leading the division after 1 week. And then you go into Arrowhead and you beat the Chiefs and you're 2-0 and the Ravens are 1-1 at best and the Chiefs are 1-1 at best, and you are already through the first 2 games at a better start to the year
just
than
like that
Zach Taylor and Burrow ever had.
And you put the pressure on all those other teams instead of us being under that early season pressure.
Yeah. In just 2 weeks, they can accomplish that. I mean, that's
Oh,
literally, and that's
Let's do it.
That's a good spot.
Let's do it. Right. Let's just do it. Come on.
What? We'll see. We're going to see about Jamar Chase. Honestly, if Chase doesn't play, watch out for T. Higgins' game, son.
Right. Trent
Watch out
Irwin
for
going to get a lot of balls.
Shamash
I don't know, man. I'm sure all of you that's tuned in are just super excited. It's it's way better than Christmas. You know what I mean? Like this is great.
Football's back, baby.
Cheese dicked out for real.
Yep.
Well, as we start wrapping this up, obviously, for those that have come through tonight, every Tuesday night at 8:30, we're going to be live right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And we're going to work out some of the technical issues, but this is season 2, episode 1. And we're going to, every week this season, literally 18 weeks, the next 18 weeks, we're right here at this time every week. So come through. The chats are
join
open
us
always.
Right, join us and interact. That's what we want. We want you to interact with us.
Toxic talk, you see that toxic shit, screenshot it, send it to us, and check out Since Fun is 5. We're going to be putting together some content of those segments to put out there, so you'll be able to find those segments you like of us just rambling on.
Rambling on, man.
It's an exciting time to be a Bengals fan. Let's go.
Yeah, this could be the biggest season in franchise history.
And let's enjoy it together.
It checks the boxes to get there.
Super Bowl, right, baby. Yep.
It checks the boxes. We don't know what's going to happen with TF this year. Probably going to be gone. And we know we're going to have Chase, but it's going to.
Right. And Elizabeth Blackburn, give her some love. She's got some excited shit this season for everybody. Like, we're going to do another Stripe the Jungle. They're opening an orange. Like, man, it's just. We've become and we are the best fan base in the NFL, regardless.
And we're going to try to get down to tailgate, go live from the tailgates. That's a goal this season, and that we want to do. So we're going to try to, have a setup at the tailgate, have the grill going. People can come through and get drinks, some food, and we'll be live the whole time talking Bengals. And you'll be able to jump on the podcast, go home, pull up YouTube, show your grandma, like, look, I'm on Days of Our Lives. And literally, you'll be able to show and blow your grandparents' mind that you're on live TV. Look, this was live at the Bengals game. These guys are famous to nobody, but they're famous. Right? And then if your great-grandparents live, you'll be like, look, Meemaw, this literally is me on live TV. That could be you at a tailgate at the Bengal Brothers podcast live event. Getting a free hot dog. You can do all the talking. I'll eat a hot dog, right? That's how it'll work.
Right. Yeah.
So
sounds good.
Every Tuesday night we'll be here 8:30, and hopefully you guys stop through and join us. You guys got to
enjoy the game. Everybody enjoy the game. Everybody enjoy the game. Represent, no matter where you're watching it or who you're with. Yep. Represent. This is going to be a special year, and let's take every minute of it in and enjoy it.
Work on the gritty. Get your gritty ready for when we score.
Follow, share. Follow, share.
Yep. On YouTube. YouTube is the main source. So, check us out on YouTube, our Facebook page, and we're week 1. We'll see you guys the next 18 weeks.
Who day?
Who day, everybody. Thanks for stopping through.
Deuce.